This video contains massive spoilers for Your Lie in April. If you have not watched or read this story yet, please do so before watching this video. First off, let me just say that I am a huge fan of Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso. It is incredible in its main characters, incredible in its presentation, and of course, all those emotions. Maybe it's because I'm younger than most venerable anime enthusiasts, or because I have a soft spot for heartbreak, but for me, Your Lie in April was an emotional rollercoaster that just kept turning my stomach inside and out. Sure, it had its share of flaws. I wish Watashi wasn't forgotten about. I wish Izanagi wasn't so annoying. I wish Seto Hirako got more screen time and backstory. But when one shines their figurative spotlight on the transformations of character that Kosei, Kaori, and Tsubaki go through, which is what everyone should be focused on, we receive a wonderful, heart-wrenching tale that I think many of us can relate to. Your Lie in April is, of course, a melodrama. It's chock full of intense scenes of people breaking down, crying, and having internal monologues as they discover how they really feel. This is a turnoff to many media viewers because if done incorrectly, melodramas will appear as an unrealistic portrayal of human emotion. Now, the question is, how does Your Lie in April circumvent this issue and manage to stay engaging, relatable, and realistic? Sure, maybe none of us are as talented as Arima Kosei, and maybe none of us will have a friend that cares about us as much as Saobe Tsubaki, and perhaps we'll never meet someone as feisty and vibrant as Miyazono Kaori. But I believe the inklings of all these people are, or were within our lives at some point. Your Lie in April's strength lies with its characters. It shows people in certain situations, and then applies suitable goals to each of them. Kaori's goal, which has arisen from her impending death, is something that nearly all of us can empathize with. Who wouldn't want to make the absolute most of the limited time they have left? Tsubaki has been metaphorically running behind Kosei for a long time and is the one who cares for and understands him the most, and now she wants to stand next to him instead. But Kosei, on the other hand, never really has a definitive goal, other than perhaps making others happy. Arima Kosei has issues. He was essentially born to fulfill his mother's aspirations and was berated and abused by her. For a long time, he simply accepted that, believing that his skill in music was the only thing that could make his mother happy. If there's one thing Kosei understands at the beginning of the story, it is the importance of family. I believe Kosei's strongest trait is his loyalty to his mother. The enormous guilt he carries after her death is evidence of this. We have this woman who any person would call a horrible parent, who physically abused her child not from being intoxicated or because Kosei did anything that could be construed as wrong, but because he didn't win a competition, because he wasn't talented enough. And Kosei was all for it. He practiced and practiced even though he knew it would probably never be enough. And when he finally snapped, his mother was suddenly gone. His angry, violent mother wasn't there anymore, and yet he would be in even more pain than before. Your Lie in April is built on moments. Moments that change the courses of entire lives. Ironically, some of these moments last entire episodes. When each musician walks out onto the stage, they know that regardless of their performance, something will be different in the aftermath. Kosei's first moment was when he let his emotions go and emptied all his pain out in front of his mother. Now, he was always a reserved kid, but is it any wonder that he can't express his emotions throughout the first bit of the story too well? He has the unconscious thought that being emotional is bad, mostly because of that singular moment. Of course, over time, Kaori helps him rediscover his love of piano and of life in general. It's interesting to me that when Kosei finally comes to terms with the circumstances surrounding his mother, nothing has really changed outside of his mind. To any person not privy to his inner thoughts, his mother would still be an abusive, selfish parent. It all depends on your perspective. This idea of inner change is used a ton in Your Lie in April. It happens during pretty much every performance. The most important example, and the one that I think really gets my point across, is Kosei's performance in the final episode. In his mind, he envisions Kaori playing her violin alongside him. At this point, Kosei is aware that Kaori's operation was a failure and that she's actually dead or dying in the hospital. But this moment is really all about him. It's the culmination of all the emotions he feels, all held together simply by his idea of Kaori. On the subject of Kosei's interactions with Kaori, it's not really possible to understand why Kaori is so bent on helping Kosei until the very end of the story, when she reveals that she had always looked up to him and of course confesses the lie that gives the series its name, which by the way is one of my favorite twists in anime. It's useful to compare Kaori against Kosei's mother, Saki, in this discussion. Also, as a piece of trivia, Taneda Risa, who voices Kaori, also voiced Watanabe Saki in Shinsekai Yori, and she and Kosei's mother share the same given name. I'm so sorry, I just noticed that and I wanted to share it. Arima Saki and Kaori are the two greatest influences on Kosei. They both serve as catalysts for Kosei's transformations of character, and the series is split in half by focusing on either of their deaths. Inherently, Kaori's role is very different from Saki's as she appears far after Saki's death, but there are still definite parallels. Both sought and succeeded in leaving behind a legacy through Kosei with the limited time they had left. The difference is that Saki used Kosei as a proxy to fulfill a dream she felt she had no way of achieving anymore, while Kaori used him to achieve something for herself before her time ran out. It's kind of funny that for how much this show is about music, it really isn't about music at all. This is alluded to at many points in the series. The music serves as a way to channel emotions and share them with others. For Kosei in particular, it becomes a way to come to terms with his mother and Kaori. To us, they aren't on the stage to display their musical skill, but rather to display their feelings. I think Kosei's transformation mirrors the experiences of many of us in real life. You can go through so many mental hoops when trying to nail down how you want to see a certain idea or event or person, and yet once you're finished, the world outside is the same. But I think that while the world on its own may not have changed, how you interact with it definitely does. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.